Proverbs is traditionally known to have been written by King Solomon, who is considered to be the wisest man who has ever lived. I mean, he did write Proverbs 26:11, which says, "Like a dog returns to its vomit, a fool reverts to his folly." Gross. And the wisdom of Proverbs basically boils down to this. There are two ways in which we can live our lives, and those ways are modeled to us by others. We can follow people down this path, or we can follow people down another path. And right away in chapter 1, you get a warning about one of those paths. It says, "Beware of sinners who will entice you to follow them. They will say, 'Come with us.' Lie in wait as we attack the innocent people who come by, and we take their things away from them, and we store riches in our own homes." But Proverbs warns against this and says that they lie in wait, but this way of life will only kill themselves because it's not sustainable. The wicked will only end up hurting themselves in the end. You see this in other chapters of Proverbs, such as chapter 21, verse 7, where it says, "The violence of the wicked will sweep them away because they refuse to do what is just." You see this in the New Testament when Jesus picks up this line of reasoning and says, "Those who live by the sword die by the sword." So what Proverbs is saying here is don't get caught up in the way of people who gain things through violence. But what is the alternative? The alternative is to follow in the ways of the wise. So Proverbs 13:20 says, "Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise." Now this is interesting because often in our modern world of individualism, we think that we can do things on our own. But what Proverbs is here saying is that you can't do it on your own. In order to become wise, you have to follow in the footsteps of others who are wise and do what they do and learn from them. Now, what is just and what is wise is the question that I think that we should be asking. And the answer that Proverbs gives is not to be greedy for ourselves, but to live in a spirit of generosity, especially generosity for those who are poor, for those who are economically oppressed. And so, Proverbs 19:17 says, "Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord." Here we see that the way in which we treat the poor among us is the way in which we treat God. Are we paying attention to those who are in need? In fact, Proverbs claims that the role of rulers and the role of politics is to defend the needy and to be a voice for the poor. You see this in Proverbs 31:9 that says, "Speak out, judge rightly, defend the rights of the poor and needy." The poor and the needy have rights of food, shelter, economic justice. So the way of wisdom that Proverbs is giving us, the way to love God, is to care for those who are on the margins of society, to care for those who are poor and in need.